All right, welcome to the second preview for the second section of The Giver. This one covers chapters 11 through 16, and a lot is going to happen within these chapters that are really critical to his development. As you'll see, his job as the receiver of memory means he is actually collecting all of the experiences of society, of the world, it seems. It's a little weird. And understand that when he has a memory transmitted to him, it's not like watching a movie. He actually lives it, all right? It becomes part of his experience, part of his knowledge, and part of what he can learn from and make decisions from, which is what they want in these guys. So really keep that in mind, that he actually experiences these things, and they really affect him. And that's the big picture of what you're going to be tracking. With each experience he has, with each memory he receives that the rest of society doesn't have, it's going to impact him. All right? Think about what we do. When you have a unique experience, what's one of the first things you want to do when you see your friends? And remember, in his rules, he can't do that. All right? None of it can be shared. And so with that in mind, we're going to go through some of the key experiences he has. And I'll just highlight a little bit from each chapter for you, okay? Chapter 11 is when he starts to experience the memories, and he learns about sameness. That's an important concept. They did some serious landscaping in this society, both on the landscape itself and on the people. So what is sameness, and why did they do it? All right? And as you go through each of these experiences with him, keep in mind there's reasons society has eliminated these things. But by eliminating them, they've also gotten rid of some positives as well. All right? By chapter 12, it becomes clear what was going on with that apple and what's really happening. All right? What it is he can see that others can't. And if you go back through the first section of the book, look for any references to color. You won't find any. Notice how the image I used in the background of the last video was black and white, as was an earlier one, but this one here is now in color, because he is gaining that ability. And that learning about color is critical. Right? By chapter 13, you're going to see him make some choices and ask some really tough questions. All right? Look at what he does when he learns about color. Watch for specific instances when he's trying to break rules. And ask yourself, why? What is he trying to do? Look for something involving Asher, involving Lily, involving his father. Over the course of chapter 13, he is going to try to reach out to each of them. All right? And towards the end of it, when you get to pages 103 to 105, there's a really critical conversation that he has with the giver. Jonas asks a lot about the giver's life, his job, and what he does. All of this ties in with the bigger issues that Jonas is going through. Imagine being the only one who has all these experiences and having no one to share them with. All right? And from that stuff, he then moves into some negative experiences. In chapter 14, he's going to learn about pain. He's going to learn another side of what red is through these chapters. And this all connects with what's really important, something I mentioned at the beginning of the unit that all humans need in order to be functional, whole, healthy people. Really watch what's going on with that. And a key part of that is what happens with him, with Gabe. In chapter 14, there's a critical moment with Gabe, which is going to give him something with Gabe that he has not got with anybody else. All right? Chapter 15, he's going to learn another big experience dealing with war. And again, look at how these things track through him. All right? How he reacts. After each memory, after each experience, what questions does he ask? What does he do? Where do you see him break rules? If you track these things, you'll go a long way towards building the case for how he's pushing away from society and why. All right, with the big question being, what is it he needs? What is it he is learning he needs so much that it's more important than anything else? And he keeps trying to get that thing from when he first learned about colors and reached out to Asher right through to these new experiences. And the chapters we're reading now, culminate in the giver feeling bad about war and giving him the most positive memory he's got, one of Christmas. Right? Kind of timely right now for those who celebrate. But when you get into the scene of Christmas, keep track of everything that's in there that they don't have in their society. And I don't just mean the physical stuff, the lights and the tree and those trappings. Look at relationships. Look at how people connect with one another. Look at the real detail in the deeper stuff that's missing in their society, for how these people relate to each other in the memory versus how he sees his family relating to him and what goes on in his world. All right? So by the end of this section, Jonas is getting close to crisis point, and we will see him reach that crisis point early in the next section when everything is going to sort of go boom. All right? But really track the questions he's asking and the spots where he is pushing away, where he is breaking rules. If you can create a list of those things, you'll be well on your way to being successful with this. All right? Good luck. Per usual, if you have questions, ideas, thoughts, post them in our discussion area, and then in the surveys as you read, and then bring them into our classroom discussions to help things there. Good luck.